Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Sammons, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm super excited to be joined by James Wilson, also known as the Sleep Geek, founder of Frankly Ventures, a sleep consultancy and sleep toolbox dedicated to helping individuals, teams, and organizations transform restless nights into rested, refertilizing sleep. With decades of experience and a personal history as a lifelong poor sleeper, James combines lived experience with sleep science to help people understand what sleep patterns, fix the root cause of poor sleep, and optimize recovery, performance, and well-being. James, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? So let's dive into this. I'm excited to learn more about the Sleep Geek. Oh. Good. I think we might have a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, a little bit, I think. I'm all right at this end.
We'll go through now. I think it's kind of caught up. So let's dive into this. With all of my guests, I do actually like to start at the beginning of their journey. So if you don't mind taking me back to what it was that you was doing before you started up the company, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
Well, I've always been in sleep because my grandpa founded a company that made beds and mattresses in the 1960s. So I have grown up in the sleep industry. I read the trade press. I went to the trade shows. I was in the brochures. So I've always been in sleep. The family has two businesses, sleep, and my dad were an ex-professional footballer, and I was an academy footballer. I think they're the sort of things that we have always done. Failed professional footballers would probably be the best way to describe our careers in football. But sleep has always been part of my life, and I did a marketing degree. I went into the family business, and I was selling beds and mattresses, and I couldn't sleep. And we employed a sleep expert, and he was a bit of a dipstick, and he told me it was my fault that I wasn't sleeping. And he was a bit of a weirdo in many ways. He ended up stalking me for a number of years, but he was the inspiration because I felt poor sleepers deserve better. Trained as a kids sleep practitioner first, specialised in teenagers, and then sort of slowly moved towards working with I'm a coach and educator, and I work with big populations. So I love that work. But as a company, we get involved in lots of things to do with sleep. It's all about sort of bringing this industry that isn't really an industry together. There's something that we're trying to do.
Yeah, and the industry that isn't really an industry, it's such an important part of people's lives. Like, I think if you can be like, if for someone that has never had a decent night's sleep, if you can promise them that or help them achieve that, I think there's no better reward in life, to be honest with you. I myself am not a good sleeper, so I completely understand the side that you're on. And I also failed professional footballer. So if you want me to join the family, I'm more than happy to do so. But amazing. James, let's dive into the business a little bit more then. So I know there's obviously a few tangents. So we work with companies, we work with individuals. So walk me through, who would you say is your ideal customer? And then from there, how is it you help them and how would you support them?
It's probably it's probably someone in sleep who's got a problem. So as a business, we are really a bit of a conglomerate, a sleep conglomerate. So we will get involved in anything to do with sleep. We have three parts. There's the Sleep Geek, which is me, and I do a lot of TV and media work. I'm the sleep expert on This Morning, BBC Breakfast, done a TV program on Channel 4, talking to journalists most days. I also certify products, retailers, and hopefully going to start hotels. My brand is built around no nonsense sleep advice and getting sleep without the stress. So it's designed for people like you and me who've been told all our lives the reason we don't sleep is that it's our fault. It goes back to that first experience with that sleep expert who wasn't very nice. So with the Sleep Geek, that is a lot of the driver of the business. That draws attention to the business. I do that sort of that media work. I do that the sort of social media stuff. So in the media, I do brand ambassador work. So I've worked with like Dyson, Specsavers, Premier Inn, like Citron, Philips, Soundcore, who are a client at the moment. Work a lot with sort of mattress retailers and things like that. And it's about presenting that message around sleep in a way that is engaging. Because if you don't engage, you're not going to educate. And that's probably what sets me apart as an expert to my competition. We then have the corporate side of the business, so we work with corporate sports teams and big populations. We
Nice.
that was called Kitmate, but we're calling that Sleep Unity going forward because that's other experts as well. I'm brilliant. I will blow my own trumpet, but I'm not the only expert that most people that everyone needs. So we will have
Mm.
we have a baby and kids expert. We have a neurodivergence and sleep expert. We have a sleep nutritionist. We have someone who specializes in sleep disorders like sleep apnea. Someone who runs an insomnia clinic in the NHS. We have an actual misinformation expert because we're trying to deliver something to these big populations that they need. And like any market, we've got competitors, and we are probably the market leader, and that's how we're moving forward. Add more people in, give people more the right expert for their problem. We do a bit of consultancy work in that organisation as well. I'll act as a chief sleep officer. I'm working with a sleep tracker brand called Leap at the moment. I help them create their content. I help them sort of like build their commercial offering. Because as well as being this sort of sleep coach and educator, I'm an entrepreneur in the sleep space. I've been involved in raising millions of pounds for different brands. I've got a lot of sort of commercial experience in this space, so I support whether it's startups or established businesses who want to build something. And we have that team of experts who do that, and then we have Kitmate is becoming our product brand, where we are looking at spaces in the sleep market where we can develop no nonsense products that do the job that they promise. And I'm sure as a poor sleeper, there's a lot of guff out there where people are making lots of wild claims about their products, and it's not solving the problem. I would say we understand sleep a lot better now than when I started doing this sort of like 20 years ago, but we're sleeping worse because we're just getting loads and loads of false claims and things like that. And one of the things I do is I have a podcast called Sleep Bollocks, and that's looking at the rubbish that is spouted about sleep and trying to help people who have tried everything to get the help they need.
Mm. And I love that you're doing such a tailored approach. So, as you say, bringing on as many experts as possible to really cater to everybody's needs because sleep is a very personal thing, and there's a lot of different reasons why someone is not getting sleep. So, it's like we need to figure out what is your issue and then put you with the right person. And as you say, like growing that is just adding more strings to your bow and position you as that specialist in the field. What would you say, like, obviously you've got a lot of people you're looking to help with a lot of strings to the company and stuff. But what would you say like is the biggest like lead generator for you? So like how do you go about acquiring your customers? What channels, what methods are you finding most effective?
It's always been LinkedIn. So the corporate side, the sports, so we do corporate and sports. I am the winningest sleep coach in football. So although I'm a failed footballer, I have been involved in 5 promotions in my time, a Papa John's Trophy and the Europa Conference League win with West Ham. So
Yeah.
West Ham men's didn't win a trophy for 43 years. They worked with me for a
Nice.
season, won a trophy. So, I'm taking full. Declan Rice leaving wasn't the reason that West Ham have gone rubbish. It was me
It's
leaving.
you. So it's
Yeah.
you that I should get on the back of my shirt, not Declan Rice. Oh, Declan Rice has
That's
gone.
exactly it.
I'm gonna get James
That's
Wilson. We owe you for that trophy, James. I'm really
That's
excited
it, young
about
mate.
that.
That's it. That's it. But it's that sort of like it is making sure that it's the right expert for the right problem
Yeah.
and driving that idea forward. As I said, it's not an industry. There isn't a lot of competition in there. I think we use so that's sort of like you win that sort of thing that works really well.
Mm.
I've done TV. I do a lot of TV. That's a sign of approval. Like actually getting the Channel 4 TV series and proving that I knew my stuff was as difficult as anything. And I was there again because I was a translator. I am an amplifier and a translator often. I am taking stuff that's quite complicated and may I say sometimes boring and turn it into something that's interesting and engaging. The commission editor at Channel 4 when they commissioned it said I was the Peter Kay of sleep, and offensive in two ways because I didn't think I was that chubby at the time, and I am from Yorkshire, not Lancashire. So to a Yorkshireman,
Yeah.
that is very, very offensive. But it's that my competition don't like. They think what I do is schmoozing or self promotion or self aggrandizing, and actually. What I do is make it entertaining, and that's what we need. The well-being is a real snake oil snake pit at the moment. We've got to help people like go through that. So LinkedIn's always been a really good one. Social media, the TV stuff, it works really well, and just word of mouth, like word of mouth, word. Like I've spent when I've ever spent any money on marketing, it's generally not worked that well. But word of mouth, we've worked with hundreds of companies now. It's just people move companies People, every week I'm having conversations with people, oh, I worked at this company, I'm at a new company, do you want to come and do that? It's that like, it's just that network effect of
Yeah.
I am good at this. The people I work with, we're all good at presenting. We're not really academics. We're not really. We've got a couple of clinicians because they deal with sleep disorders, but we are good at the thing that you need to be good at to change people's behaviours, which is coaching and educating, and that is we are that's why we see ourselves as our business. Our competition often see that what we do, what we do, should be doing is telling people how much we know. That's not what we need to do. We need to engage people. It's
So
quite
true.
simple when you engage them.
Yeah, well, it's also very surface level. So if you go too in depth with people, they tend to turn off, and that might put them to sleep. But it's more of a having that knowledge and like just getting awareness out there on the first of all, which is easy to digest. So making it fun, playful, and as you say, creative is also a really nice way to approach that. Interesting though that you didn't find any success in that. Like, was you running them a lot, or was it more just to kind of test it out and then see how it goes from there?
Test it out, and as we are bootstrapping, and it's that like return on investment in it. And like when we started, so I've had a couple of different iterations of this. We had a similar business that we sold into another wellbeing company. Probably that was a mistake because the guy we sold it to was a bit of a wrong un, and we were left. So I would say it was me and my wife was in it at the time. Left being owed quite a lot of money, but like it was with it's all we decided in what was it, about 8 years ago? We had a little bit of money. We spent it on, we had what we called the Love Island strategy, which was to go to a PR agency based in London that was very entertainment based and work with them for 18 months, 2 years. They were brilliant at getting us lots and lots of like media coverage. That money, I felt that although it's harder to measure, the
Yeah,
return on investment was for what we were trying to do was really, really good. And I see my competition spending lots of money on advertising, maybe like on the page HR type advertising. And I can see we're doing 10, 15 times more business than them because we've built our business on creating a moat, and the moat
yeah,
is often what I've been doing. Am I standing in the sleep world where without that profile, they struggle to get
yeah.
customers because how do you trust someone who's worked with three companies compared to someone who's worked with hundreds? And that it's been that word of mouth like testimonials encouraging
Yeah.
that. Ads is in the plan, but he's found the right partner as well. We've struggled at times to find the right partner. Salespeople are good at selling, aren't they? So they're
Most people
often
are good
very
at
good.
selling.
They're often very good at selling the
You
service to you, but
you
they're
need
not actually delivering it.
Yeah, that's what I say. You need to find the salespeople that you don't feel like you've been sold to, and then you know that the
That's
the
it.
service is a winning one. But it is all about positioning yourself as that specialist, and obviously having your background as or known being known as obviously the sleep geek. It's that personal brand and awareness that you're kind of getting. So if you manage to figure the ads and kind of crack it from there, it's just a nice kind of stream and steady income of leads from you. And then I suppose with that being said, James, like what are the plans for the future for you? So like what are you looking to scale? Like what is the end goal when you think about it for the next 12 months?
So the business has been going 3 years. This version of the business, we've just had that re sort of like adjusting the brands. We set up a social enterprise because we do a lot of free work anyway, and we just felt so we're still a limited company. I have worked with charities. I'm not a massive fan of that model, or I feel that it can be open to abuse, and
Mm,
I don't want to rely on funding from like the public purse or from foundations. I want us to
yeah.
generate our own income, and then we can decide how we're going to spend that income. So I think that has been quite a big change for us. We went for investment about 18 months ago, and probably the best decision we made was to stop doing that
Mm,
because our business is not easy to understand. It looks like a consultancy business. It looks like it's all built around me, and that has been a pushback in my career as an entrepreneur in sleep quite a lot. If I was doing something, it was around the sleep gig. Yeah, but how do we extrapolate this? My argument is you don't need to. A big part of our business is training, and we're getting more and more so. So we train people in like bed shops and mattress shops. We're just about to start training people in jobs like PTs in the sports sector, where people are
right.
talking about sleep. We want them to have the knowledge we've got and the ability to
Yeah.
communicate that knowledge like we have. So I think but when we went for investment that year, sales dropped by 30% because as a very small business and founder led, and the founder is actually also the product, the hoops I was having to jump through for what was a relatively small amount of money. I've got an old bloke who tells me what that I'm useless. I've got a dad. That's fine. I don't need another one. And that was what he felt like. And I'd done a lot of like working both myself. I'd raised myself. I'd done friends and family. I'd worked with
Yeah.
brands where we'd gone to VCs. We'd sold a business into somebody. I think this time I felt like I want to do it where there's only me making a decision,
Love it.
and it's sort of me and my wife are making a decision rather than some external. It's always been weird with people who invested in my businesses in that they love what I
Yeah.
do, but as soon as they get involved, they want to tell me that I'm doing it wrong. And it's a very strange phenomena where I think people's egos get involved and they start thinking. I had someone once be an investor who just basically wanted to work with sports clubs and be on the telly, who was in sleep, and he didn't have the ability to do that. He was very good at what he did, but he was very disengaging. And I've seen him on the TV recently, and it was a bit of a car crash. And it's that thing where what I do can look quite easy, but it's actually quite difficult to do it well. And that's why we've been relatively successful.
No, it's so true. It's very hard to portray yourself on TV and camera in an easy, digestible way, but then also entertaining at the same time. And just by speaking to you, James, for about 10 minutes, I can kind of see that in you. You know, you're very entertaining, you're very easy to speak to, but you speak very clearly at the same time. So having that balance must be amazing. And then you having full control moving forward, why should you not do that? Why should you not just
That's
take
it.
control?
And it works around, it works around my life, and I get
Yeah,
to be involved in startups still.
yeah,
I work with startups that are raising, so you get that little bit of excitement. But I can add knowledge into people with good ideas that they want to grow fast. I think the best piece of advice I ever got was my wife. Me and my wife met. She was a product manager, and I was her product at a wellbeing company. And the person before, who was my product manager, was she found her in the toilet crying. Now, I want to be clear, it wasn't me. She'd never been a product manager before, and it's been given me to look after. But my wife had come from a product management background. At the time she wasn't obviously my wife, but day one she went, you're not a hare, you're a tortoise." And the whole thing we've always had as a business is we need to stay in the game. We need to make sure we're making money, and we need to make sure we stay in the game. And that is what we've done. And it's slower. We've had decisions to make, like this brand comes along who wants to give you a lot of money, but they're a marketing brand that has no product behind it. We'll say no because the Sleep Geek brand and the Sleep Unity brand and the Kitmate brand is not that. And that can be difficult, but that's why we're now working with brands like Dyson, like Soundcore, Premier in talking to some really impressive brands, because we've kept our brand identity really, really clear. We're both marketers by training, me and my wife, and we get that marketing is just telling stories and being quite simple about who you are, what you do, and how you're going to help someone, and that's that is what we try to do.
yeah, fully. And keeping the integrity the whole way through. And that's the beauty of running your own business. And
Exactly.
James, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out best to like work with you, connect with you, and just check out all the amazing things that you're doing?
So I'm on social media as The Sleep Geek, your favorite social media channel. You'll find me there. And my website is thesleepgeek.co.uk. So that tells you all about the work that I do in the different forms.
Amazing. Sleep Geek, everywhere we go. Beautiful. And thank you again for joining us. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe to Founders Future via wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from zero to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing, and we will see you on the next one.